All right, party people. It's time for that little Monday update. So, today's going to be a little bit longer. I'm sorry for those of you that don't like that. Hopefully, there's some value in all the things that I want to discuss today, right? Had some topics come up that I want to have a moment with you. So, first thing, programming. Right now, we're focusing on squat clean, push jerk, all right? Clean and jerk at the end of the day. But yes, we are focusing on the push jerk, full squat clean, building some strength and improving that lift. And then we are also putting a little more emphasis into the bar muscle up, which translates into kipping pull-ups, kipping chest to bar pull-ups, and the skills required for those. All right. So that's the two kind of focuses in the programming. Yes, we still got the Metcons and all the fun things, all the sweat things. All right. It's all still happening. So, but those are kind of two focuses in the programming. I won't beat that too much because I did make a video yesterday on the weekly programming update that is in Sugar Wad if you want to know a little bit more. I try to dive into important details, thoughts, and things related to programming in that video. All right. So, it's in Sugar Wad. It's underneath Monday's workouts, and you can watch it there. Yeah, so that's kind of the focuses for the next about 5 weeks, improving those two things. Okay. Next, we had a HYROX simulation here on Saturday. All right, it was awesome. The crew that is signed up, there's about, I think, 28 of us signed up, heading to Las Vegas to compete in the actual HYROX event in Las Vegas. The simulation that we did here on Saturday, that some people in the gym were like, oh, I didn't know that was happening. I know, because I didn't tell anybody outside the people going to Vegas that that was happening. That was specifically for them because I'm coaching them all in a private group for all the people going to Las Vegas. If you're interested in HYROX, want to learn about it, interested in training for one, I'm happy to let you know how we're running that here in the gym. We can set up a time. My calendar is in the WhatsApp group. You can book a time anytime that's available in there, and we can sit down and have a conversation about all things related to how I am running HYROX here at the gym. Just a quick overview of how that's going. I'm basically guiding the group through extra running, which is outside of class. We get all of our strength training from our regular CrossFit class. And when we ran the simulation this weekend, everybody did awesome. You know, there was nobody in the gym got stuffed by any of the individual events. And overall, everybody did really good. The biggest thing is HYROX is 5 miles of running. And 1,000 meter intervals, you do 8 of them. So it's 8K, which is just slightly under 5 miles. And training that requires doing running outside of class. We get the strength stuff in CrossFit. Like the whole group has a great foundation there. But what I do specifically, and you can see it in the Sugar Wad app, is programming specific running intervals and running, more running. So that's something we're all doing outside the group class hours. It doesn't make sense to have a HYROX class per se. It doesn't fit. We get our strength and conditioning required for HYROX in our CrossFit classes. I'm a big believer in that, and I plan on doing more detailed video of the relationship between HYROX, CrossFit training, understanding the differences and thoughts there as like an industry. I'm a big fan of training for it. And I think our general training that we do in class is a great foundation of fitness. And then we have to layer in more running. It's just that simple because it is 50% of the entire event. Out of 16 events, half of them are 1,000 meter runs. And anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes of the entire thing for some folks is running. So you have to have that running foundation, but you also have to have a strength foundation. And I just watching all the people who have been long-term members here, totally fine with the strength pieces for the divisions they signed up for, and we are improving our running. So the simulation was an invite to them to run them through a full HYROX simulation so they could get a test of what it's going to be like, roughly. It wasn't a perfect test, but we were able to do all the events in order and feel out the whole event. And the goal of that was so we can get a little more specific if we needed to plug any holes leading into Vegas. I'm happy to report that I didn't see any gaping holes for anybody who signed up. So that's a testament to the consistency of everybody participating already and the consistency in their fitness, already laying a great foundation for doing this event. And the more that, we continue to improve our running, which is just something that, just has to be done, and either you guys get together, some of them run together, but most of us just do it outside of class. And layering that in with our regular training is how we are approaching HYROX. I know there are specific classes and this and that at various places that's quote unquote HYROX classes. I don't see the need for that. We develop phenomenal strength capabilities for the HYROX events in our regular class. CrossFit builds an amazing foundation of strength and conditioning for the HYROX event. But it is a 60 to some people 2 hours, but it's anywhere from a 60 to 90 minute event on average. So training that time domain is hard for any class setting in an hour. So that's just something where we just have to build our aerobic capacity, and adding, anywhere from 1 to 3 specific running workouts a week is what I'm programming. It's in SugarWOD. I mean, you guys can see it, for this group to layer in on top of us doing class. For most of us, it's not replacing class. It is on top of doing class. And it's working really, really well. I was pretty impressed by the entire group as a whole and what they did this weekend. And again, if you're interested, I'm really enjoying it. I am. I do think the event is a great test of aerobic fitness, and it's forced me to get out of my personal comfort zone and improving my running, which has been, I'm not a huge fan of running, but not because I don't think it's good for you. It's actually really good for you. This is going to be a separate video, but I'm excited. I'm fired up, and I do believe that I'm going to plan a destination HYROX trip like this every year, at least one a year, maybe end up being 2, to where we travel to like Vegas, Anaheim, West Coast, Phoenix, to compete in an actual HYROX event. Now, the HYROX event, that is their business, right? They run these events, and they're massive, huge scale, thousands of people competing. Carson City CrossFit is hosting a HYROX simulation. So similar to what I put the group through on Saturday, it is a simulation. They're not, nobody but HYROX can run a HYROX event, okay? It's like nobody but Ironman can run a sanctioned Ironman event. They own that, okay? That is their thing. But us as HYROX affiliates, which Double Edge Fitness is a HYROX affiliate, HYROX training center, if you will, can hold simulations. And Carson City CrossFit has a great venue, and they do a great job. They ran a simulation last year. They're running another one this year. And I'm going to try to get the information from them so I can put it in this newsletter. So if you're interested in signing up for that one, I am going to, I believe quite a few people are going to sign up for it from the gym, and I'm going to continue the programming and building that HYROX community, if you will, within our existing class structure and the extra running and helping guide people down that training journey. Again, this is my first HYROX myself, is going to be Las Vegas. Granted, I've been training and coaching and doing this stuff for a long time, but I'm also learning the sport, if you will, and the event, and how to appropriately train for it. particularly the running, not taking things too far, making sure we're doing enough. So it's also a learning process for me as a coach. But I think we got a pretty good grasp on it, and the group is training awesome. It's really cool to see everybody's base of fitness just get amplified, and the growth that's taking place has been pretty cool. So that's what this simulation was this weekend. It wasn't a class. It was just me getting the group that's going to Vegas in here to test the event so that they're familiar with it. And it's good for teams to run a simulation before they go and compete at HYROX. So they can work on their team strategy. And if you don't know this about the team event, everybody runs the same. So you and your partner do the same runs. You run together every time. Running is not shared work. But then the 8 individual events, you can break up however you want between you and your partner. So team strategy is important. And that's another reason I want to make sure that our teams that are going down there were able to get a simulation in to kind of feel out their teammates and work on dialing their strategy as a team. Individual, you just grind it out. As a team, you can apply a little more strategy, working off each other's strengths and weaknesses a little bit better. But you still have to do all the running together. You're not allowed to be more than 5 seconds apart. So you and your partner have to stay together, which reiterates my point that the bulk of our training is improving our running, all right, for this event. But if you have questions on HYROX, I'm happy to help. I'm the self-appointed head coach of HYROX at this point. Coach Faye is also going to Vegas. She has actually done a couple HYROX. They started in Europe. That's where HYROX is actually headquartered. So she's the one that kind of first turned me onto it. And she's done a few. She has great insights on it also. So you can also pick her brain if you want to learn more about HYROX. Okay, guys, I'm happy to help. And yes, I plan on this one's on February 22nd in Vegas. I know that the Carson City simulation is in early spring sometime. I'll get that date. It'll be in the newsletter and share it with you guys. And then we'll see another West Coast one that maybe comes up in 2026 towards the end of the year that I might organize another destination-oriented, fully sanctioned HYROX event to oversee and train for. But yeah, so that's what's happening with HYROX, all right? Next thing, understanding open gym, all right? Had to have a few conversations with folks. Open gym is an add-on membership, right? It is currently our all-access membership, all right? That will be changing in February for new people coming into the gym. Our existing people, there will be no changes, so don't stress. Okay, no changes, but you do need to have an all-access membership to be doing open gym. So if your monthly bill doesn't say all access, if it just says unlimited or 2 days a week, you are not paying your part to do open gym. And the reason I bring this up is congestion, one, which hasn't been a terrible issue, but I'm still reminding folks out there, hey, doing a full workout over here on the turf side, you need to be on open gym. Okay. That's just the way it's done here. All right. 80% of our members do group class, which is great. That's where I think your time should be spent. If you want to do a little extra or, whatever, open gym is a service that we have available, but it is an extra monthly add-on. If open gym was just available to everybody, it would be an absolute shit show. And full transparency, I don't want to be an open gym. Globo gyms, they're not good at getting people healthy and fit. They're just not. So open gym and just working out, that's not the business model that we aim to grow, right? What changes people's lives and the passion that I have and all of us coaches have behind fitness is our group class model, which I've 10,000 times believe in way more than working out on your own all the time. Now, some people are great and successful working out on their own. It's cool, but that's not the business and gym model that we at Double Edge Fitness want to have. Because we have the space, some extra space, it is a service that we make available. But it is not the model we want. And I've had in the new year multiple people requesting online, do you guys have an open gym only membership? I know some facilities like ours have an open gym only membership. We don't, and we never will. Okay, I want to be very upfront and clear about that. We will never have an open gym only membership. Now, we do have people here that pay for all access and primarily do open gym. And that's their own prerogative, right? In my mind, you can save money and go to a regular gym, but they like the cleanliness, the organization, the equipment. They like the vibes. They like the, being able to engage with the coaches and so forth. So it's great. It's fine. But we will never have a tier of membership that is open gym only. That's cheaper. If you want open gym, it's going to be our premium membership to have that perk available to you. And that keeps congestion. We also do reinvest into open gym stuff and various pieces of equipment and whatnot. And it's something that I will keep limited. There's not going to be just endless open gym memberships. I am keeping an eye on daily hours of usage. I don't want, 20, 30 people trying to work out in the turf space. That's not something I want. So our goal here and our focus here as a fitness facility is premium coaching and providing you the most effective, high quality workout in a 1 hour time frame that if you do that consistently, 3 to 5 days per week, you're going to be a fit and healthy human being. All right. And we have 13 years of data just in this gym. And me watching some of the fittest people in this gym, all they do is group class. They're consistent with it 3 to 5 days per week, month over month, year over year. And they are fit, healthy human beings. And that is our goal here, to provide the best product, the best bang for your buck in time and money, completing that 1 hour a day in the structured, coached environment of class. And that is the business model that we at Double Edge Fitness lean into, not an open gym style facility, all right? So if you need to make some changes to your membership, I've been talking to folks that, need to, and some people, everybody understands and either make the change or stop abusing it. So I just want to be clear there that it is an add-on, right? If you're doing a little foam rolling, a little stretching, whatever, I'm not going to bust people's balls. But when you're throwing down a full workout, let's just be grown-ups about it. Know the difference there, okay? Know the difference, right? Let's not put each other in a weird place, all right? Next, it's January, new year, new you. Just want to throw out the reminder, I'm here to help you guys with your nutrition, goal setting, whatever you need. I've been getting people booking appointments, meeting up with me, and we've been talking about it, diving into some nutrition, fine-tuning some things, reviewing goals, expectations for where you're at and what chapter of life you're in, overcoming some obstacles and whatnot. So my calendar is in the WhatsApp group. It's pinned to the top of my deal there. You can join that group in the newsletter. Links on there. You can click on my calendar and you can book a time. All right. And if you can't find a time, reach out to me. I can make other times work. I just have to coordinate childcare and, stuff outside the gym, my life, to make other times work. But so far, people have been booking some slots, which has been cool to see. I really want our members to know even if you don't come to my class, I'm here to help as much as possible and help you guys reach your goals, right? I'm a resource And I'm really, really going into this new year just trying to make sure I'm very upfront and open about my availability and making it as easy as possible to be able to get the help you need. I mean, all the coaches will help you. Everybody will give you tips, tricks, and help you overcome this and that. But I just want to make sure you guys know, like, if you need a dedicated sit down conversation, set up some macros, talk about nutrition, mostly nutrition is what a lot of these conversations are, but injuries, you got something nagging going on you want to talk about, I can typically help point you in the right direction and or teach you some things about modifying and adjusting and understanding the injury better. I've coached lots of people, done this a long time, and I just want you to know I'm here and happy to share whatever knowledge I have. And if I don't have the knowledge, typically at this point in my career, I can hopefully point you to the right direction of resources locally here in town to help with finding that knowledge, so you can continue to crush your goals and overcome any obstacles that might be in your way. Right. So again, calendar is in the WhatsApp group. All right. I have my own channel in there. I plan to evolve that with all the coaches throughout the year. But right now, that's where I'm coaching HYROX. And that's where my personal channel is there for questions, and or I keep my calendar pinned so you can just pull it up, click on it, book it. And yep. All right. This is available to Double Edge members only. I'm not opening up my calendar to the general public. So if you're a member here at the gym, I'm here to help you. All right. Any of you, all of you. Cool. All right. So, alcohol. I want to touch on this real quick. Little Instagram post got put up the other day about all the negative effects of alcohol. So, any alcohol equals negative effect. Little bit, little negative effect, a lot negative effect. There's no little bit, no effect. All right. So all alcohol is bad. Your body treats it as poison. If you're interested in the more details, I threw it up in there on the Instagram post on the Double Edge page. You can see it. You can read it. There's the notes there. But basically, alcohol contributes to the 4 horsemen of death, metabolic disease, heart disease, brain health, dementia, Alzheimer's, and cancer, right? Acetaldehyde is your body, your liver has to deal with it. So all other bodily functions from the liver shut down so the liver can deal with the alcohol. Too much of it, well, any is negative. A little bit is a little bit negative. A lot is a lot bit negative. But I'm not sitting here on the high horse saying you got to go like totally abstinent from alcohol, right? It's not a bad thing. But alcohol is the only drug that you are looked at sideways on if you don't participate in it. If you say, hey, I'm not going to drink, people automatically assume you have a drinking problem, right? It's got this inverse societal relationship that is very interesting. And if you're out with friends who like to recreationally drink, or, you get together with friends, it's just normal. And then you decide, I'm not going to drink. And then you go out and they're like, oh, you're not drinking? Why? And I can get that. That can be challenging. And there are ways to overcome it. Change your friend group. That's one way. Might not be the best way, but I can honestly say over my years, my friends group has changed. It is what it is. You tend to outgrow people who don't want to evolve. So I'm so grateful for the gym and everybody in my life here, because we are all evolving together and growing together and getting healthier and fitter together. So like we're all growing in this same direction. But is having 1 or 2 drinks, maybe even 4 or 5 drinks a week, going to be the thing that kills you in the long term? Probably not. Realistically, probably not. Is it going to be something that's holding you back? maybe. Giving up alcohol, and I haven't. I mean, I just went on a cruise, had quite a few drinks. I'm back into normal routine, 1 or 2 drinks a week tops. I really, really tried to stick to that the best that I possibly can. I happen to enjoy alcohol, so it's not like I do enjoy it, but I want to make sure that I'm not coming off over the top. Yes, if you give it up, I support you. I think that's the best thing for your health. Keeping it in moderation is good for your health. If you drink too much, I think you should look into making some changes. All right. That's where I'm at with it with you guys. You know, I want you to continually move the needle forward on your health and fitness. Some people are overwhelmed by the thought of, I can't have my glass of wine. I can't do this. You know, what about these parties or these events? It's life's about trade-offs, and you just need to understand the trade-offs that you're making when you decide to consume these things when it comes to your long-term health and fitness. And for me personally, it's a bigger trade-off to keep it in check and be very intentional of when I'm having a drink and making sure that I'm not mindlessly just having drinks throughout the week. You know, and what is the driver of me having a drink? Am I having a drink because I'm stressed out about something and I want to, you know, kind of knock that stress burden down to chill out? Or do I need to go deal with this source of stress, fix that so that this feeling doesn't come up? And that's been something over the last few years I've been really working on for myself personally, because alcohol would become a tool for me to wind down and, you know, kind of bring that stress, anxiety into bay. Unfortunately, it has this gross circle of life when you're using alcohol to mitigate stress and anxiety, because sleep is one of the best tools to helping mitigate stress and anxiety. And then you have some drinks and then your sleep is shit, and then the next day it's worse. And I've noticed that with myself multiple times. You know, you have some drinks and the next day you're more anxious than you were the previous day. Like, it's compounding in a negative manner when it comes to that psychological experiment. At least for me, it is. And that's when it's like, okay, I need to focus on dealing with what's causing X stress better so that I'm not having these responses and like trying to drink to mitigate them. And there's some tools. I mean, there's some great non-alcoholic beverages. I do enjoy non-alcoholic beers. I like beer, but you know, it's a calorie trade-off also, even the non-alcoholic ones. Everything's a trade-off. So you got to find, you know, just ask yourself the question of what and why am I doing this? Is it worth the trade-off? Ask that question, consume whatever you want. You know, when it comes to what we eat, what we drink, it all has health trade-offs. There are health trade-offs in a positive direction. There are health trade-offs in a negative direction. So making sure that you're just intentionally thinking about what you're drinking, what you're consuming, and understanding the trade-offs. Now, if you don't understand from a metabolic effect of what said food or drink is doing to your body to facilitate better health and recovery and performance, I'm happy to sit down with you and break down the details the best that I can of why or what we should change there to optimize, you know, better health, better performance, better sleep, and mental well-being. I mean, food and alcohol play a huge piece of our mental health. So I want you guys to just be very intentional, right? And that's the biggest message I can say with it, because like I said, I still have a couple of drinks per week. And typically it's just very intentional. It's something that I'll have a martini with my wife. It's something we do. So, but we're both very intentional about it. It's not every day get home, pour a drink. You know, I'll get home and sit in the hot tub and have non-alcoholic beer. All right. You can make some swaps there, still have kind of the ritual, if you will, without the negative consequences. And yes, non-alcoholic drinks, especially the mocktails, can be loaded with sugar. right? So these are all trade-offs that we need to be mindful of. Okay, we're giving up the alcohol, but we're now consuming a lot of sugar. So you got to trade off there. Non-alcoholic beers still have carbohydrates, still have calories in them. You need to understand, just acquire the knowledge of what you're consuming. Ask the question of, why am I consuming this? Is the trade-off worth it? If you start doing those things in 2026 alone, you'll start making very positive moves forward with your health. Just asking the question each time you're eating, each time you're drinking, is this trade-off worth it, either negative or positive, right? So ask those questions, right? And you guys, here to help. Another question came up. I'm trying to get my 12,000 steps per day average in 2026. 2025, I hit a little over 10,000 step per day average. I'm like, let's try to step this up a little bit. Step this up a little bit. General movement is powerful when it comes to your overall health. Helps with glucose management. It helps with overall weight management. It helps with recovery. Sitting in a desk like this for 8 hours a day, increasing your general movement is going to be very positive. Now, is 10,000 steps going to replace quality strength training and good high intensity aerobic capacity work? Absolutely not. Not even remotely close. So when it comes to time, allocating time appropriately, we want to make sure we are getting in our good training sessions. But if we can sprinkle in general movement a little more intentionally throughout the day, I don't want you to underestimate the compounding effects that will have over the course of a year when it comes to weight management and general health, mental health. Going out for a 10, 15-minute walk in sunlight is one of the best things you can do for your mental health. And finding these gaps. So I made this comment that I need to fill the gaps to hit this goal. And that comes down to something simple. I found a gap that I can fill to hit this goal. Pretty simple. I usually get to my kids' school to pick them up about 15 minutes early, right? My kids go to school, you got to get there a little early or you don't get a parking spot. So I get there about 15 minutes early, picking them up for school. And in that 15 minutes, I'm usually doom scrolling on Instagram. That's typically what happens. I get in the parking lot, I park, doom scroll. I am going to replace that in 2026. When I get to the school early, I'm going to replace that with, I'm just going to walk the parking lot. In that 15 minutes, I got like 1,400 steps in. Boom. Just took my average, that one change, that one extra little walk. I'm going to take my average of 10,000 up to almost 12,000 with just that change. Okay. It's that 15 minutes, right? So you can find small gaps in the flow of your day that you can add some general movement in and really make a profound effect on your long-term health. Just find these little gaps in your day. And, typically you can find a couple of them. That was a big standout gap for me. I'm there 15 minutes early. Instead of doom scrolling, I'm going to walk. You can walk and doom scroll. You could do that. I'm not going to. I might. Who knows? Depends on if someone's popping off on Instagram. I got to get sucked into the reels again. But if you go to your phone screen time usage, you can typically find a good amount of time that you can fill the gaps. But fortunately for me, my Instagram usage actually isn't terrible considering I run a business that has to be on social media. It's not that bad. I've reeled that in a lot. But that's what I want to tell you guys. Increasing your general movement in 2026 can be a very powerful health and fitness tool for you. And it can really help when it comes to, honestly, weight management. It is powerful. And just to mitigate and help with calorie control and also your mental health, just getting that little extra movement, getting 10,000 steps per day and averaging that is extremely powerful. And the influencers be talking about this shit all the time on Instagram. And you know what? And I happen to agree with them. And the research supports it. So just, maybe take a look at your calendar, look at your day, look at your weeks, and see where you can plug a little bit. A 10-minute walk here, a 15-minute walk there. 1 or 2 of those a day. And it'll add up to a profound effect over the course of a year and over the course of a lifetime. All right. So do that for yourself. A couple more things to chat about. I brought up the idea of recognizing, adding a layer to the committed club, and I'm still conflicted here. I'm my 3 days a week, 12 sessions per month is the benchmark of where I've seen over the years people who do that consistently and eat healthy move the needle on their health and fitness when they're consistently 3 days per week. Looking at the committed club list for this last year and just thinking through what I know of all the people on that list, it's pretty solid when you look at the health and fitness of that entire list. So the proof is in the pudding. Like watching our community for 13 years, and we've have members in this gym who have been here that long, and their growth, and they consistently average 3 to 5 days per week, month over month, year over year, and it shows. Like it shows in a very meaningful way. But there are people that are just slaying it. And I thought maybe, recognizing the people that are doing maybe 16 or even 20 visits per month and just throwing that out there. Because these people, these aren't gym rats like me. These aren't people that own a gym, work at a gym all day. These are people that have, some of them, 4 kids, full-time jobs. They have real shit outside here. Like I said, they're not gym rat like me. Okay? These are real folks out in the real world who are prioritizing and slaying their fitness goals. And I think of this analogy when nobody thought the 4-minute mile could be broken. I can't think of the dude's name right now. I looked it up, but he broke the 4-minute mile. Nobody thought it could be done by a human being running a mile in 4 minutes. When it got broken, like the following year, multiple people broke that because they saw this barrier taken down, that now that it's possible, well, I can do it too. And that's what's great around that's what's great about surrounding yourself with people who push you and show you what's possible. You might be at home with a lot going on in your life, but this other person, you're like, wow, I actually know that person. They have a lot going on in their life too, and they're getting 20 visits per month. And that might inspire you to take a look at your calendar and look at your day and what can we clean up there? It's easy for me, and I get it. Like I work in a gym. It's my job. And it's like, well, I should be healthy and fit and do all these things. And it hasn't been an easy journey for me. I've had challenges. But, or any of our coaches, right? We all work here. We all get to train. It's part of our job. Okay. So it's hard to say, hey, it's easy to get it in for the person that doesn't work in a gym. And there's a gap there into relatability between what, for myself and my training and, a mom of 4 with a full-time job training. It's hard to make that close that relationship relatable gap. But when I look at the list of people and see folks who aren't gym rats like me crushing it, it's inspiring for me. Like, okay, they're crushing it. I should sure as hell better be doing the best that I can. But if you guys see that happening and it inspires a couple of you to, to take a look and, clean up some excuses, if you will, and it elevates you. So when you're surrounded by people better than you, it elevates you. For instance, in my world, it's like me working out with Faye. She makes me better. She's better than me. Me and JP training together for HYROX. We're both pretty equally in a lot of things, but we're both making each other better. When you're surrounded by people that push you to be the best version of yourself, you get better. And that's what this community is all about. we're all got stuff going on in our lives. We all got things, we got this and that. But when we're here supporting each other and showing what's possible, and if that can be an inspiring moment to help you level up in some way, that was the idea behind, maybe bringing another layer of recognition to the people who are just downright crushing it. And it's impressive. It inspires the hell out of me. They don't live in a gym like I do. And the priority that they put into their health and fitness with everything I know personally that they have going on in their lives is awesome. It gets super inspiring. It's super cool. So that was the idea behind it. Know that 3 days per week, we're still going to continue to recognize that. I still believe that to truly be the benchmark tipping point. And that's why I want to continuously inspire those of you, to that benchmark, but also highlight what's possible by regular human beings who are members of this gym. And by say regular, they're not regular human beings. I mean, we see regular out in society, but people that aren't coaches and aren't gym owners. Okay. These are just, your co-members, your co-community. All right. And they're crushing it too. And if that can be some inspiration for anybody to help level up, that's what we're about. We're about helping people level up regardless of where you're at. You could be at the very top and you want to level up, we're going to level up. All right. That's the goal. That's the idea. All right. It's all positive. 2 more quick things. Plan on doing a little more in-depth update on this particular topic in regards to the recovery room. We have had sauna cold plunges now for a couple years, and 2 years, 3 years ago, trendy, right? Every influencer in the world was sponsored by some sauna or cold plunge company. They're giving them to you. I saw this one asshole on Instagram say the cold plunge is the best thing you can do for weight loss. I'm like, what the fuck is the world coming to? No, it's not. Shut the fuck up. All right. So there's stuff like that 2 years ago. Now you don't see as much of that bullshit anymore, which is great because some people were trying to sell saunas, sell cold plunges, and it was trendy, like all over the place. You couldn't talk health and fitness without, are you doing sauna and cold plunge? Okay. It became a point in it to where it's like people felt that if sauna and cold plunging was more important than training. And that's never has been and never will be the case. So here's my take. I think it's a value add to your overall health if done in a way that adds to your quality of life. That's kind of like word garbage there. But here's what I'm getting at. There's places in town right now that are charging $250 to $300 per month to use a sauna and cold plunge. Now, this shit ain't cheap, right? A decent sauna is 10 to 15 grand, right? Cold plunges, I mean, you can get little rubber tubs all the way to something that like has filtration and hot and cold, anywhere from, $2,500 up to $8,000. Like this, I seen cold plunges in the $20,000 range, right? This stuff's not cheap. It's fancy. Does it add value? Yes, it can. Should you prioritize that over training, nutrition, sleep, good hydration, limiting drinking, limiting sugar consumption? No. Like we should have all those other rocks of our health pretty dialed in. And then does sauna and cold plunging add health benefits to you on top of that? Absolutely, it can. And I personally have noticed that over the years. When it comes to, if you had to choose one, I get people ask me this. If you had to choose one, sauna or cold plunge, I'd choose the sauna. Way more research there, long-term research when it comes to heart disease and dementia, like brain health stuff. It genuinely makes me happy. And I do enjoy it. Getting 3 to 4 20-minute sauna sessions per week is my perfect week as long as all the training was in line. when I can do that, when I pull that off, it's a great week and I really enjoy it. And when I do the sauna post workout, it doesn't happen for me that often. Might be shocking. I do live in a gym that has a cold plunge and sauna, but my training time is priority number one. Eating is priority number two. Then I'm back to coaching or making awesome videos for you guys or trying to pay the bills or whatever running business life is for me at that moment. Sometimes I don't always have the time. I have a block that basically goes from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. that all my training, and I do work with a client during that time also, and my eating, my primary meal of the day all takes place in that. And then I got to shower, clean up, so forth. So it doesn't always happen, even for me. But those days where I can get the sauna in after my workout, my recovery the next day is better. No question. When I'm consistent with the sauna, my blood pressure improves. When I'm consistent with the sauna, I do feel more relaxed. I sleep better. Those are indisputable benefits that I personally have noticed with sauna usage. And I do enjoy it. Cold plunging, I do usually twice a week. All right. I do it on my low, more recovery-oriented training days or rest days. All right. I do not cold plunge right after training. I never have. I never will, unless it's a fucked up workout that I don't want to ruin a week of training, and I want to try to knock some of the inflammatory response down so that I can function the next day. And I seldomly do those kinds of workouts anymore. I'm trying to be more responsible with my training in my 40s than I was in my 30s and 20s. So it's not too often I'm doing a workout that just puts me to that level that I feel cold plunging right after is a benefit. Now, the reason I want to bring that up is cold plunging can and does lower body inflammation, okay? But training causes inflammation. Our body overcoming that inflammatory response from training is all part of the process of improving fitness and strength. So if you're using an external factor to knock down the inflammation that was derived from training, you're potentially, to a small degree, but even a little bit every single day can add up over time, can impede your fitness progress and muscular gain, right? A lot of the research, this is tied to hypertrophy. If you're trying to grow muscles, cold plunging right after your training session can be detrimental to muscle growth. Now, when it comes to strength, I'm not really sure what the answer is there, but you don't see strength-oriented power athletes doing a ton of cold plunging after strength training. So I don't do it after training. My favorite time is first thing in the morning. Wakes me up. I'm alert. It knocks down anxiety. I feel better. Like doing it first thing in the morning, then giving my body a couple of hours to regulate back to neutral before training is my perfect situation. Now you might be thinking, Derek, you got a cold plunge. You got 2 of them at the gym and you get there early. Why don't you do it every day? You want to know why? Because you know what? I don't have it mentally. Not every day, especially in the wintertime, do I want to climb into cold water first thing in the morning when I'm already cold. Plus, now I'm getting to the gym early to set up the gym for the morning class, and it's just a variable. So I haven't been doing that over the last year. I had like a year where I was cold plunging in the morning when I got here every day, and I did. I felt great. Now I'm pretty consistent on 2 days per week. They're on my low training days or rest days. And I typically do a contrast deal between cold plunge and sauna, working those and doing some contrast. So that's my answer to those questions about sauna and cold plunge. I think it's a very valuable thing that we have here. I think our price point for it is very valuable to our members who want to pay the little extra to have that availability and to have those health benefits available to them. Do I think they should replace training? Absolutely not. But if you have the time and you want to invest a little bit into, say, maybe 5% improvement, that might be generous. But if you want to improve, you got your training dialed, you got your nutrition, and you want, sleep's dialed, but maybe adding some sauna can help with the sleep. I don't know. Does for me, does for my wife. Could be something to try, could be something to play with. It's here, it's available. And when I see places popping up that are charging $250 a month to be able to just use sauna and cold plunge, I'm like, this is a great value add that we have here in a low key, kind of private environment that is available to you guys. Right? Currently, members, it's $60 per month. Add on to your membership to get unlimited usage going in and out of there. And yes, there's some spots available. I don't market it because I don't want it to get congested. And I'm chief cleaning officer of that room, and I pride myself on keeping it pretty dialed in there and keeping up with the upkeep. That's always clean, always sanitary, and we don't want it to get too congested. Now, if the desire grows, I am considering, and I'm looking at adding a second sauna in there. Maybe sometime this year, maybe next year. We'll see how, kind of usage plays out and so forth. Starting in February, new members will have segue into next topic. But starting February, new members to Double Edge Fitness, there will be a new pricing structure for darn near everything. This doesn't affect current members. Okay. Current members might be able to look at a couple options and be like, oh, well, actually, I can save a couple bucks here. You are right. There will be some opportunities of paying in full. That is a money-saving option, and restructuring add-ons. So coming in February, like I saved this for the end, probably lost everybody audience, but those of you that made it this far, new people are coming in February. There's going to be 2 days per week membership and unlimited membership. That's the two options. All right. Both those on a month-to-month basis are going up $10 per month. Okay. For new members. So cool it. You guys, we don't have to have stress about small price change that's going to take place next year. But right now, nothing's changing with our existing members. Right? There's new people. So we're going to have cleaner pricing, 2 days per week and unlimited. That's the two options we're going to have. Month to month, it's going to be $10 more. There will be paid in full options for the unlimited membership, 3, 6, and 12 months that do have money saving options with it. The next change will be open gym and recovery room will just be their own add-on. All right, their own separate add-on. I'm doing that because some folks who are training for specific things, like having a 2-day per week membership to do class, and they want to do open gym. All right, so they'll be able to add open gym to their 2-day per week membership. Again, quantity of people that I bring in on this is going to be low. All right, but they'll be able to add that instead of just like having to go to all access. And this will be a month-to-month deal. You can pay for open gym month to month. You can do it for 3 months. You can cancel it. For instance, I got handful of folks in my HYROX group that are paying for open gym to do extra work on the side while they're training for HYROX, but after the event, they just want to go back to group class. Perfect. So we're going to have the open gym to where you're not going up to all access, just a little cleaner, right? It's just a little cleaner that you can add open gym on top of any membership as an add-on. Same with recovery room. You can add that as an add-on. That will be $75 per month for current members versus $60. That current price. Okay, $75 a month will be the new recovery room price for anybody joining the recovery room starting next month. All right. If you already pay for it, your price isn't changing. All right. So don't ask me questions like, am I getting, no, you're not. Not yet. 2027, we'll have this conversation going into 2027. Don't be stressed about that either. All right. Feeling it out. But new members coming in gym in February will have a new pricing structure. If I still have your attention this far into this, I want to send out a friendly reminder that chances are most of you are on some kind of grandfathered membership rate. And don't get me wrong, I love the referrals, but there's a high probability that the rates you have, no new members getting that. I mean, they're not. unless you've been a new member in the last year, that rate is still the new member rate till the end of February. But I've had a couple things come up this month. Somebody comes in, they're interested, and they're like, oh, yeah, whoever told me about that, well, that's their rate because they've been with us for 9 years, right? We do reward longevity, and I try to hold rates for people in a grandfathered way over time, to respect that, appreciate that, right? So it's like, you've been a long-term member. I try to, we do our best around here to run a business where we can maintain that the best that we possibly can. So I don't care if you tell people I'm 100% confident in standing up for myself and the business and the way we have our pricing structure and the way we've honored grandfathered members who have been with us for a long time. But chances are when you reverse that's not the rate that person's getting. So I just don't want that new person to be blindsided, like, oh, they don't pay that. And all of a sudden they're like, whoa. So yeah, just want to touch on that. All right. So yeah, new structure coming in February for new people coming to the gym. If you're somebody that listens to this stuff who's not a member and interested in becoming a member, maybe a new member or reactivating a membership, well, January is probably your best chance to do that and get the good pricing, right? So February, there will be some changes and some cleanup done administratively for new folks going forward, who join the community, all right? And then, yeah, that's all I got. That's everything. Yes, this was long. I'm sorry. 56 minutes, but I had to touch and wanted to touch on all these topics for, maybe the 15 people that listen to all my stuff. And you know what? I appreciate you. And we'll see what AI spits out as far as bullet point notes for the rest of you guys. And yeah, that's what I got. Love you guys. Peace.